Yes. Good evening. Where you are? Yes, yes. Yes, wherever you are. Thank you for showing up. One of the reasons I'm showing up, I'll be explaining it now. So I'll be speaking in English, and then after that, I'm gonna break it in another language later. But I want to just share my thought with you, what I'm thinking, so you may know where I am right now. You know, I'm still on road, I'm still on tour, doing my music. And I want to share with you my mind. So as we wait for everybody to join on, I'll be talking about few things, and I'll be mentioning some real deep stuff. Some of you are gonna get angry, but you'll understand why. Why is this like this? Some of you may not know why I've taken this down, but it's a normal thing. Every human being has their own mind, has their own perspective, has their own way of receiving information. Right now, I'm motivated to be going on live every day, or every day send a message. You see, the systematic killing of Nuer people has not stopped since the 80s by SPLA. The killing has continued. And the biggest challenge with the Nuer people, they never talk. And also the biggest problem we have is how we have Dinka elite that took position in SPLA that always deny the role that the Nuer played in SPLA. They always denied, or they never, even like if you watch the TV, they claim to be the liberators of the country. SPLA would have never happened without Nuer people. Apparently, the first bunches of katibas that were launched to go to war, you'll find out of 1,000 Nuer, maybe there's 10 Dinka. And because the Nuer people, one of the biggest generosity they have is when another person comes, they welcome you as their own. And they'll give the best position or the best meal to that person who has come to them. And that has been taken as a way to exploit them. John Garang was welcomed by the Nuer people. They settled him in SPLA. When they say Bonga, Bonga was where? In Gambela region. Bill from where? Was in Nuer land. There was no movement of SPLA formed. It's only that like you have this elite, they go ahead and make themselves feel huge and rob the history. The Nuer people have got history. They've been known as people who resist oppression brought by oppressors. Now, even if you go to Ethiopia, the only tribe that sent a reinforcement to help the Ethiopian fight the Italians were the Nuer people. There was no one Dinka that went to fight during that time. And that's why the relationship with Ethiopia and the Nuer is amazing. That's why you go, like any Nuer person can go to Ethiopia and get a passport. You go to the museum, you'll find the Nuer people or the Nas people. They have history, but they never brag about the history. And they never talk about it. What has happened right now? We are in a situation of defense. There's premeditated execution of people of my kind. And the reason one was in 2016. Now, there are people called capos. You know capos? When the Nazis or the Germans were executing the Jews, one of the things they did was people called cabos. Kabos were Jewish people that were given incentives, were given cigarettes, and were given some food in the prison, and they were recruited and given titles. And those titles they were given, what was their main role? Their main role is to watch of the Jews that have been put to be executed. And they are the one who pick who to die tomorrow. Can you imagine? When the one who pick the lot of groups, yeah, were those capos. And who are capos? Capos were criminals. Capos were a bunch of individuals that were issued benefits, and in order to go and control and torture their own people. So now, it's the same thing that every oppressor does. The oppressor will never be interested in picking anyone who has the interest of their people. And that's why you find out those who don't stand with Nuer, you know, they are couples. They're getting paid. You know, I happened to link into Shuluk people who were talking on the conversation the other day, and they were having their conversation. One of the Shuluk lady, what she spoke moved my heart. I wish I could remember her name. That Shuluk lady, her speech was noble. Like, I've never heard a woman who speaks so clean. In her speech, as everybody was speaking, and he said, okay, guys, let's hold for a moment. One young man in the speech said, look, Lama Call know the truth of what is happening. The government is killing the Nuer people. But right now, he has a check that he's receiving and he's old. He cannot go and say the wrong thing. The Nuer people are being hurt by the government, and there's been a systematic way to kill the Nuer. So the Shuluk lady who started speaking said, I am really, really disgusted by Olin's speech, because at this moment, the Nuer are grieving. Since 2013 up to now, the government did a huge massacre of Nuer people, but there's no outlet to tell this story. And up to that time, up to now, the whole country resources, different tribes, including Nuer, who are on the Nuer side, were paid to destroy their own kind. Uganda was brought to fight Nuer. The Arab color were brought to fight the Nuer. You got the RSF were brought to fight the Nuer. 27 rebel groups were hired to come and fight the Nuer. And the Nuer are being killed systematically. Now, the Nuer were still grieving because their leaders are in and arrested. And only now you come and say, leave, no child, no woman, no elderly. For that, I don't accept it. Now, what she started doing, and she started telling all the Shuluk people to say, look, if you have any child that is going for this wrong vision, this is not our fight. Nuer people are the only fair people we know right now. They are the only people who always say Malakal belong to the Shuluk. They don't come and take our areas and claim them. But this Dinka in the government will claim these areas. So she started telling them and telling all the Shuluk people that are supporting Orange to go off, and she doesn't stand with what Orange is saying. Some of the reason that she's not going to stand with them is she has families that married Nuer women, and she has families that married Shuluk. And this idea, which means some of our cousins could be murdered. So she doesn't support that idea. Now, 2013 happened, but a lot of Nuer has forgotten about it. And the killing continued. And we're still forgetting about it. Now, the reason I'm talking like this, some of you may call me I'm tribal, no. But 2013, 60 people from my family got killed. 60 people. One of my brother, who also happened to be a Kir supporter, was picked one time, and he was told by those he was supporting to call his brothers on the phone and make his prayers. And he called my younger brother, called Manath, and Manath picked the phone. And as he picked the phone, he told Manath, I've been told to make prayers. And those people told my brother, we're looking for you. And they shot him on the phone as he was talking to his brother. And that's my brother. Now, we have people, 100% of the Nuer people lost somebody. There's some Nuer who are watching me now and they're saying, Jal, what are you talking about? Now you need to understand, this government has segregated us. This government have hired heavy machinery to want to destroy us. Like one of the things that, if you never heard, there was a big fight that broke out yesterday in Juba. And what was the fight about? In Tiger Division, the Nuer man was supporting Kir. But one guy who happened to be arrogant from the government side told this Nuer guy, you know what? There will be never a Nuer person to rule this country. Never. And the guy from the Tiger asked him, what do you mean that Nuer person will never rule? Is this what all this is all about? The guy said, like all of you here, you're just serving us, our interests, but the Nuer person will never rule. So the Nuer guy asked him, so now we are fighting to support you. I thought we were fighting you for a cause that is just. And the Dinka guy said, no. That's what the fight started. The Nuer guy said, look, this is not what it's all about. So these two guys started fighting, and that's why there was war in Juba the other day, and the Tigers fought among themselves. Now, you see this mentality of people who are in the government. Turabi once said, he said, South Sudan will separate, but it will not take long before these people go to war. And he was asked why. He said, we know Dinka mentality, they have so much ego. They will try to be in every position and they'll bully everybody. And they will never want to make anyone to think that they can be number one too. The only thing, this seat, the presidential seat, would only belong to a Dinka. No other person could ever have this. That's not what we fought for. The seat for presidency is for any South Sudanese. Any child from South Sudan can dream to have that seat. It's not for Dinka alone. And one of the reasons that motivate them, they take it, because everybody has gone quiet and left this position for it. Now they have all the resources, and they try to block any media for nobody to communicate. So every Nuer person, we have the social media. We have to tell our stories. What did the government do this week? They go to Nuer areas, they park their cars, they fire the big guns, they bring in helicopters, they drop in the chemical weapons, and they kill whoever they can. Luckily, the good thing is, whenever they're coming to an area, most people are smart now. They are alert that the government is up to kill them. So these people are able to escape. Now that we know a government that has an agenda to destroy us, it will be foolish and stupid of us not to stand together and face this government with whichever way possible. There are those who want to face the government with their guns, let them do that. But those who want to do it diplomatically, let it do that. But those who are activists, our main role is to put a spotlight. Genocide has been declared by the government through Olin that killed nobody. When you premeditate something, that is genocide. But because we are not telling our stories, because we don't have the resources, we don't have the friends who can stand with us, this war is fought by Nuer people alone. This is our war. It's declared on us. Because they know if we can destroy these Nuer people, then we can write the history the way they are. They call themselves the liberators. But right now, they cannot face Nuer one-on-one. They have to mobilize the entire world. They have to get all the resources, the heavy machinery, and they're still getting defeated. Defeated by civilians. Olin was sent to disarm the civilians, and Olin was disarmed. Every military sent, he disarmed. So now, the God who has been so fair, because these Nuer people had no way to defend themselves. The supplier for guns, for machinery, has been the government. The government come to try to fight these villages. The villagers beat the government, and they equip themselves. They never had tanks. Now they have tanks. You know, they have the big artillery. So when it comes to one-on-one, when they come with their tank and facing the government with heavy machines, the government can't face them. As long as this mentality of saying that no South Sudanese child should never dream of that #1 position, as long as those few guys in the system, you know, those few men who was put it in their heart, this Gen Council, as long as they're in that mentality to continue to want to exploit the country to just benefit the few, it will never be. Juba will fall. You know, like me, myself now, I know it's risky for me to speak like this, but according to the Nats people, a man is respected if they die for what they believe in, and fear no death because it's unification of our ancestors. You know, the social media, when you speak your truth, it's louder than the big bombs that they're dropping. The other day when Oling made that statement, we all write our letters to any person that we know, and we shared the video, and we spoke on the social media. The entire world condemned it. So everybody, wherever you are, they come to your village, they drop the bomb, we take the video if you can and share it. President Kiir will fall. His days are numbered. A new government that is fair will be formed. Yes, it's going to happen. I told you guys this from last year, that Kiir will fall, Juba will fall, because what? It's time. South Sudanese has known clearly now, Kiir is not there for South Sudan anymore. It's just there for him and his family. He wants to establish the system and continue to control it. So, Nanbarai Katong Waranta, take a mabalaria. Korea to con. Career to be worker, need a contrar, Tong Bali. Lakin Balari entered. Native Rierka con. Canate Chermila Laria. Chick Mom Muchiro the Ling Nanga, Kachora Nawala, my rock rare, brother long Nanga, Chanjan. Can God come over copies yo? Mu go lunjo more back on our community, like in Lord Jen and God Ton, she could be take a community. Bagway no rudian. Quor Macha Quan Mula Luna Rode, Timalera Cana. So, native con loalka con catin. Redney. For example, te chalmaya lane wurmudi notisin. Changajo ngay wuru shwala tut ka eja. Jo tut ka monenum. Ngay ni shunga jaka nor eje. Jo tut ka jan. She nor ma sile riem da sile she nor. Tut ka wajan bena barkadal. Cha kwenga wonamo. Gwame titin. Cha bijen chan matot. Kan chan ma ya je ka chiang nora me wala chan chara ja kwal ran kwal chan bi nong chang la nong ka je ba kwen ok te mo ga ka bul to wan cha nora wan ya ka mai mo won tong bi je te doctor wu che re buli na yi chu re buli mi ga ka bul mai cha chu ti re dien cha I ku ala nor mu ti cha I ku je ken chang ji nong ga te God mari kon wore bully. Walke wakare bully ne dan la to kur dwal ke nong no ba ka na bul. me cái chụp rồi bule nó jal à vừa cái rèn chạc thì này mà nhiều này ngay nó tệ thì giờ nó bảo lần này chỉ cái chụp bên tông á ai aga de queen man lakin wong na kan bus ka jal so xiang buli me wala xiang buli titin chera xiang nor me wal me chụp rồi dien bai ri kan for example chera ngwen mon 12 elle lakin ka le te yore buli gwande ne ore buli te ya ri se la bon so nyen xiang go ka buli lakin bul te wala la shunga kel ka nor buli tini chi pai ben ti te cha binyon dollar me ayo te ka tam di ka tan te ka tam di she kan dia ba nyo ye an bay ka so wana ka story wuri shala tooth cow chala nga wuri mutatin chin yo tooth cow me dan me aja chaje rep chaje enchan cha te chim nor me she ba gwi me she gwi cho pizza la gashin zaman dan ne ya kudit ka tot ala wur me shala Umar Bashir akwar ka benti wane mai korom la gar ma shar ka katebe da me be kaje shamo Umar Bashir ya barwal de sha de na re kur shege ngolje enjen shege dan we tut ka la gar to de me Umar Bashir ya kuje ya kuchuk chawla kwar ma dit antonga Umar Bashir we shedan she ngol medan me yang barja ni aja bakka katum she wa chapi chup katum lakin ta gat ma wona me goro biena enjen yo nang ni tut ka wonang o pi jalaw ni so tut ka me ko luñ dai buli konta bul bi kenene me gadda lakin wurdi ma yana jo te ma shala genetic memory rama jene ke dire ka cha bulare ka che ba ngai jen kar ka janga enjen ne la kaf ke jene ne jang ba kwat ne e ba kam ne ngal ken shera mi la shwala wolf in sheep clothing cha shore cha wuje ya brir ya jo jinne ana jin jang cha wu jang ne da jo jinne jang kar ko jang enjen mi na nen tut ka me la tana ka juba mata yo to go to bak a muktab dene te nyaa tin ka jang kan dia be jom peace project ela no ka mo peace project be je businessman ni ala kwart dis jani to kula bande kwaro la kaf mol tila waka muktab be birano hiro ri hiria ko ay jang mi ci waka tut ka one rianga normally ben ba america 1000 5000 bo porta but so perception beje tut ka mata ga 50 million ta ya kam je ta jana ya kam na don beje nti benefit rain wora der la 500,000 ala 450 4.5 million ya cham jam so wuro mo ye wujalla chune guy kar ga dong di no chewa kama ne ti ni ngai ke yang nyo jo jin me la jiga damar ko ngai ji ni jo ga ro ngai ji ka ngai mo dong ne nya pa ndeng gai ngai nya pa nya dang ngai je lakin ba lar ji ba wurin shwala taban medan ne me gat pi the mo dong ba lakin me pa dan taban me taban dengai gwan jalab janela wona idor gwan wurmo ga mai ne shub ba ne tela ka nam ga ba mit lakin ka chang nora taban che bi chu no nori so che ku kwen nga chi is gone wur dit mai nga jo min bi ngai doren tin nora ramun non karar na wala ma ya non ma ya bi pis ba ba ta bom ayo ma ya bom je ba gwi na rode ene di kon ya ta bom ba karir ala ga dila pan to ga dila to konti de nora la to go enke lawa koidor ken ba ko koidor ba ka la ta jaja ba ka nya min chalan me che ur chala ga dit yaka ga dit yaka nan adil lakin ya banyon cha bangar shone yenen bul ma ya wujen ngar gad ga dia la shunga ka nor na wala mate mai to kan ta mu wi je loy ni kien na rai sheng na tonga be jo kan dia shunga kel ka nor lakin ni aluna me ko min te ka gad ke ka la jel ka la bon mi sha la to korin di tinyal enjen ba gor na je chang ya je ra mo te dwerbo chicken news dwere ko ngen ken mo chalo jal kel a bom so min titin chu ja yen bia gad ge ka bia ka kwit awani te mo lokana na gad ge ka sha long no nori sha long no garma shara ken ba gad ge ka tini ana loko garma shara kana te wurma sha kon ngaf na mai link kawani a cha ka ngava reo ma shara na wala na ka SPL reo ma shara a cha na kon la ma ji na wala so nyen kwaro den kula wo kwi mi ne lakini no mo che tok a chama ma cha o lat ke ene to kon to gor ko abinwa abimit lakin daman la beke daman be ko kai la teke daman de lakin talk a very slow ko bom to under where it take God get in charity and chavity tema ya parwe mikeli aladna choma kala monenu ur mangai mo gwed makirne choma kala mo mu wero ro kwore loka chabitu bana lo kong dung lo ka me she dung ben tiyo ni kore lo on tha di jel ke la gat kel kati la gad ge ka tangwan te bi yen na rai buli na bi ben bi yel ka lo bi ka kwa lo to bi water tanken baro di lurit baro di lurit jogo ma kala mo ne je ke je la me ja ya bi je na urma shala tut ka sha mo close to $100,000 ya kon book 50,000 Shabu nyo no 100,000 yo ta kar ko ne re te ga de e wa ka garu chero bi na chui ko yo khaira ndo manamo ko yo sha kam dollar lakin yo tuke diet konte wante konte a kon ko for example no we was tene urmu chala ta ker me dan cha mo yo dialan ta dia brok tele yo komi la lel ka gwantar barama no be yibe mo binywa be yur baram nyo no be mi yar kana history do te ma choler history gira mo ka jika chondu ko bi che moruna history do ken che morun te jelidi chang jeli nene ramo ya kono a che mo bom wuri mi gwit kenji ala jin jok gwit keni la jin jok so ngan ma balaria ene ton liang na ton wuni na me cha to lo mo we pan nywan tele zaman modon ma ban ran nyo chu ka je ai gwa mati tin min de la den tadi mati del gora mati del gora katiji yo tatobi social media me rire jidel goro dun dial kan dial mati ka manu ko bielar ke kume me na ko mati ka swor nyuni ka matana gan manika ntari kon nore chanka refugee camp neke 2013 up to now tene ile te ka refugee camp ka unimis to ko nore ngai na mo chwale di enamo ne to na gare kwam te ma chwala frontal cortex. Frontal cortex, to me, I locked up in one place for a very long time. Frontal cortex, but shut down. Your frontal cortex is responsible for long-term project, planning, organization, strategy. It's responsible for doing difficult things. It's responsible for doing mathematics, for engineering. Frontal cortex, which I lock, which I terrorize for a long period of time, tell me you are trauma. When you could traumatize, where your frontal cortex be blocked. And it can take generations. Kone kontonmo ako defeat me ko barar gorka therapy to integrate bakanyo nore. Kone plan kumo goro nore ba cheng ne refugee camp ne. Bigala chan. Bilim na ken. Ama chikana plan kan kumo. Yours kana na sticker without the nation. And yet then your work deal is very difficult. Be not you uncle kana. Yo deal to keke. Me you dollar mo. Ba toga mo yo and get keep mo. Mo we na bene shoot nay. Ba gwe ni. Konta the yo la naken. La kinte mo shwala deal. Te me len yo gare. Te me len yo. Shwong. Freedom. Mo go je. Kobi. Ka shwondu. Kona mente ja na kona men. Kota na ka shwong. Moy ka kon dalo. Mo njen lal na mente de. Ancora me tarna me. Me tene rara. Tere ne onen gor ne bi ne wajube. Ma chai bu pat. Ka chai bu gwel pin men me piem ka nga ju me dan nga yang kon ne dwai nga. Dwai nga di dwai nga ngon nor. But there's no reason. Dwai ngon nor ma iro da long. Ngwa me chup tele jang me yene chup panana me. International me kana chup ke. Tele mel mu ne yo gor ka isti chai de mel je. Na me pure hard work ko ka long mo moja block chaon ko boy wan chikana lo. Chikana lo. Kienen de me da la mon ke project ne bate padani kien de ket kien to ba on to ba yo ko ka ba on ke ke ne na ba moy promote go internet la open ne na but na me chema long ko. Na me real work, you have to show real talent. You have to battle. Ka riem no ora a bomb down. Kakwele we gwamata na kwana compete internationally wona make real talent rama topti woni mi shikana gonka ga shikta gwami ga dolt ni ga ngwal di aliana ga chana ga ka yana ga ga ni kon ku dalen jen music mo international ngulo ga ja enjena mo kana na lo so ne roje ngan tadi kaya goro bana rodan organize nanga gin mati chang ala bala jaka ne ji garma to da biwo ka dukan bu kono ko bilum jok bala yeng ne ji bi nyura ti doran ka ti ji plan a jin wut ka nge je we da ka je to mo na mo jega mati chang ba mati maleli warpin ne mo nimi goro du code wona pin matika gambela tika jubatini ti gwanika ko jin wud mate di bi nyuri jin wona jin ka social media libi news bukulo la ngu shankel okay kama tika lat lani mati gwa mati yo wonta de gwa menta di humanitarian enjen gwa me de na york bano ran tax take wurmu ine je wurmu nga jodi ngai George Washington jeje so kan George Washington medan taka ka white army take taka ka chol yana white army lakini la chol na ika militia community shina already organized me aro organize tira mo local lakini me already long show England yo ye kan man shiga take ku me dia already organized. So when turn a boom kana, me in our organize la moy kana tax. I ran moy na tax. Jimati shendu, ngana taw message man, bolar, jimati shendu. Kami dio ka chankel. Kachilo Jet, Caminante Pin, no more dress. Monte Conteka Nairobi and Dial. I shake Muteka Nairobi, I shake Muteka Uganda. I shake Mute Wimon Kalim. Mungaja Konduja Kachanket. Ka social media go to be news Moga Bieling. Ka Queen and Nikon, Katima European, Lenin and self care on now. Kone country means you can control a deal, Kawama to 1018. Back a deal in a year, come in and be a long year. Back a deal in a year. And then, Del Ariano. Take a number into your queen one more. Number it on take a G contribution, more save a number more. Every month, some to now $5. 100 shilling, 100 bir. Tumni je. Agwam bo tino. Ba mulong about long. Kene kona toni. Bay jo. Ako del kel kaya. Gwa tiatino. Matike social media. Rajni. Lad wiju. Mone rodan mobilize. Kama dwali ko